Hello everyone, Jai Hind, and once again welcome to the platform of Shri Ram's IAS. So far we have studied the formulation or formation of the constitution as well as the evolution of the constitution during company's rule as well as crown's rule. But in today's session we'll be discussing the preamble of the Constitution of India or preamble to the Constitution of India. Now what is the preamble? When we talk about the preamble is basically a foundational statement about the Constitution, or you can just simply understand it as an introductory statement to the Constitution. Whenever you go to buy a book, all right, you are buying a book, you do not go through the complete book completely, all right, you just go through the preface and you just see that what this book is all about. In the same manner, when you talk about the preamble, it is a foundational statement which declares the outline of the philosophy of the Constitution. It declares the ideals as well as the core objectives of the Constitution completely. So that is the preamble. Also, when it comes to the identity, it reflects the aim, it reflects the nature and democratic sources of the India's governing framework, and that is what we call as preamble. So in simple terms, it is basically a preface or prelude to the Constitution that defines what the objectives are, what the ideals are, and also what are the guiding principles while laying down the Constitution of India. Alright, it starts from we, the people of India, and it ends to do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution. Alright, now when we talk about the historical foundation, it is inspired by the US Constitution's preamble. Alright, this preamble of the Constitution of India has been taken, or the idea of having the preamble, not just taken, the idea of having a preamble to the Constitution had been taken or inspired by the US Constitution. It was drafted by the drafting committee, alright, that was headed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, I told you in the previous session, and the ideals, the objectives that were rooted in the objective resolution that was moved by Jawaharlal Nehru were taken, and the complete preamble is inspired by those ideals and those philosophies, and it was enacted along with the Constitution of India on 26 November 1949. So this is the complete timeline. On 13th December 1946, there was an objective resolution that was moved by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Alright, later on it was adopted on 22nd January 1947. This was adopted by the Constituent Assembly, and later on, along with the Constitution, it was adopted and enacted on 26 November. Later on, the Constitution, it came into force on 26 January 1950. Along with the Constitution, our preamble also was made a part of this Constitution of India. Now, the blueprint of the complete preamble is in the objective resolution that was moved by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru on 13th of December 1946. Alright, it was proposed by Jawaharlal Nehru on 13th December 1946, adopted. The objective resolution was adopted on 22nd January 1947, and the key ideals which were there in this objective resolution, which also finds its place in the preamble, are sovereignty, that is, the India will be independent authority when it comes to taking all the decision, as well as justice, liberty, inequality, which are the core democratic principles which were enshrined in the objective resolution as well, and fundamental rights, which are guaranteed protection of the individual freedoms, as well as the Federation of India, where we will have the union of states with the state governments as well. So all these things, the ideas were basically there in the objective resolution that was moved by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Now this is the preamble to the Constitution of India. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief and faith and worship, equality of status and opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation in our Constituent Assembly. On this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this constitution. Now, the preamble holds very, very important because we have different phrases through which we can understand our complete constitution. The first phrase is where the preamble starts, we the people of India. We the people of India do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this constitution. That means that the complete authority lies with the people of India. Or you can say that ultimate sovereignty rests with the people of India and not with the parliament or any other authority. And this is called as popular sovereignty. Popular means here peoples. Alright, this is actually, we can say that this ultimate sovereignty is actually, it can be said that it is a popular sovereignty. So when you hear this word popular sovereignty, it means that popular means here peoples, that the people are supreme and they are the source of authority. The ultimate source of authority lies with the people in India. The second phrase that you have seen over here is sovereign. Alright, sovereign is where a country is actually independent to take its own decisions. Alright, the power holds authority. There is no external power that holds any authority over our nation, and we are able to take every decision independently of any nation. You must have seen recently that US has imposed, USA or the America had imposed lots of restrictions. The tariffs had been imposed on India, but still we did not back down from our policies because we are sovereign. Our nation is sovereign and we won't be backed down by any other external authority because we are free to take our own decisions, and that is the sovereign. That India is a sovereign nation. Then comes socialist. This word had been added by 42nd Amendment Act of 1976, and when we are talking about socialist, we are not exactly socialist, but we are following the principles of mixed socialism. But what was the need to add this word was that we as a country, we aim to reduce the inequalities which are there in country. Alright, reduce the inequalities, ensure equitable distribution of the resources and the wealth of the nation, and that is what socialist means in the preamble. Alright, the next word is secular. Again, secular word had been added by 42nd Amendment Act, and this secular state that the state has no religion. That is a Western philosophy. Alright, where secularism means that the state has no religion and state does not recognize any religion. But in India, we do not follow the Western secularism. We follow the Indianization of the secular word, and that is the state has no official religion, but we do recognize all religions. And all religions are equal, or there is equal respect and freedom for all the faiths. That is what secular means when we are talking about India. So this is a special case. Just like we have special case in terms of socialist, the special case is in the terms of secular as well. Alright, the next term is democratic. Now you know about democracy. Alright, democracy is by the people, of the people and for the people. That is where the government had been formed, or with the people. They elect their government or their representative through fair and free elections. So we have the democracy that is established, and republic. Alright, we celebrate Republic Day on 26th January every year. So what this word republic means? Republic means that the head of the nation would be an elected head, and he or she will not be a hereditary head. That is what republic means. So before India became republic on 26th January. Alright, on 26th January, we became republic on 26th January 1950, when India got its first president. The president of India, who is the head of the nation, he is an elected head. He is not, or she is not, the hereditary head. And that is why we celebrate Republic Day. Alright, it is not because that, because the constitution was, it came into being. Because on this day, on 26th January, we became republic. Alright, before this, we were not republic. Alright, and next, when we talk about the objectives of the principles. So there are we have the objectives which had been laid down in the preamble. The first objective is justice. Now, over here, justice is not just political justice. All right, when we had laid down the constitution, the justice actually meant the justice of social and economic justice. All right, that is enshrined. The principle of the social and economic justice, they are enshrined in directive principles of state policy. And we have also provided the political justice that is enshrined under fundamental rights. Then we have another principle or the objective that had been laid down by the constitution, that is liberty. Liberty means freedom. Freedom of thought, expression, that we have the complete freedom upon our thoughts and expression, belief and faith, and even worship. Again, these different liberties had been laid down by fundamental rights. Again, when we talk about equality, there is complete equality of status and opportunity, and also equal treatment before law, or equality before law, that had been provided again by fundamental rights, and the equality of status and opportunity had been provided by directive principles of state policy as well. And then fraternity. Fraternity means brotherhood. All right, fraternity where the dignity of the individual must be maintained. Unity of the nation is the basic ideal behind promoting the fraternity of everyone, and the brotherhood among citizens will actually lead to the unity of the nation. These are the different objectives of the preamble that had been enshrined in the preamble. Now, the preamble had been amended only once by 42nd Amendment Act in 1976. And over here, there were two words which were added. Actually, there were three words, but there was change in the sentence that was there. All right. So over here, words that were added were socialist and secular, and the sentence was modified. Unity of the nation was changed to unity and integrity of the nation. So when we are talking about what was added, it was added socialist was added to the preamble, secular was added along with and integrity of the nation. And this amendment had strengthened India's commitment to the social justice as well as religious equality while emphasizing upon the national integration. Now, what is the legal status of the preamble? Now, when we talk about the preamble, initially there was a case, Beruberi Union case in 1960. Over here, Supreme Court had ruled that the preamble is not integral part of our constitution. However, later on in the Keshwanand Bharti case in 1973, very prominent case, there was a landmark reversal. And over here, Supreme Court ruled that preamble is integral part of the constitution and it reflects the basic structure of our constitution. And this basic structure principle was laid down in the Keshwanand Bharti case. And Supreme Court said that the basic structure of the constitution cannot be amended. Anything can be amended in the constitution, but not the basic structure. Now, what is the importance of the preamble? According to the Supreme Court, it is the identity card of the Constitution and it defines the identity of the document or of the Constitution. Along with this, when we are talking about the preamble, it is a guiding light and it serves for interpretation of the different provisions of the Constitution and also serves as a guidance for the courts as well as lawmakers when it comes to interpretation of the Constitution of India. Alright, also it reflects the source of the constitutional power, that is we, the people of India. Alright, so it is, or we have the popular sovereignty or people's authority that is reflected by the preamble, as well as it enshrines the goals, ideals, aspirations of the makers of the Constitution of India or our nation, and that is the importance of this preamble. Now, what is the difference between the preamble of India as well as US? So over here you can see this is the preamble to the US Constitution. We, the people of United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our authority to ordain and establish this Constitution of United States of America. Alright, so this is the preamble to the United States Constitution. Now, what is the difference between the preamble of Indian Constitution and that of the US? Now, Indian preamble gives the source of the authority to the people of India. In the same way, the US preamble, it lays down the source of authority to the people of USA. Now, Indian preamble is detailed and comprehensive. You can see we have this ideals, we have the objectives which have been laid down along with what kind of nation that we are establishing. Alright, so that all had been enshrined in the Constitution or preamble to the Constitution of India. But when it comes to the preamble to the US Constitution, it is brief and concise. Alright, there are the core ideals, justice, liberty, equality and fraternity that had been taken or that are there in the Indian Constitution or the preamble to the Indian Constitution. But when it comes to US preamble, justice, liberty and welfare are the core ideals which are enshrined in the US preamble. Now, when we talk about the preamble and the basic structure doctrine, I told you that it was during the Keshwan and Bharti case in 1973 that it was established that preamble is the integral part of the Constitution, and that is why after the Keshwan and Bharti case in 1976, the preamble was amended by 42nd Amendment Act. Alright, when it comes to 1994, there was another case, S.R. Bommai case, where the Supreme Court reaffirmed secularism as the integral part or integral, to the basic structure, and that secularism cannot be changed. Now, when it comes to the preamble cannot override specific constitutional provision. Preamble cannot or it cannot change the constitutional provision or the articles. But when it comes to interpretation, Supreme Court has said that preamble can be taken into the consideration for interpretation of various articles of the Constitution of India. So this is the summary when it comes to preamble of the Constitution of India. When it comes to the origin, it is based on the objective resolution that was moved by Jawaharlal Nehru in 1946. The words which were added during the 42nd Amendment Act, it is socialist, secular and integrity. When it comes to the core values that are enshrined in the preamble, we have justice, liberty, equality and fraternity, which are the core values which are established by the preamble of the Constitution. The legal status is basically that the preamble is part of the Constitution which had been laid down in the Keshwan and Bharti case, and it is basically the soul of the Constitution. That is the significance of the preamble. Now, over here, when it comes to your prelims, what all things that you have to remember? You have to remember what are the added words. Alright, adopted date, when it was adopted. Alright, when it came into force, the sources as well as parts of the Constitution, whether it is a part of the Constitution or not. All these things you have to remember when it comes to your prelims. But when it comes to your mains perspective, you can try and write this answer to the question, or discuss the significance of the preamble in reflecting the basic structure of the Indian Constitution. Alright. At the same time, you can test your knowledge and on the basis of what we have gone so far. Alright, so when we are coming to it, Supreme Court case, which was the Supreme Court case or landmark case that held that preamble is part of the Constitution or it is not part of the Constitution, both the cases you have to keep in mind. Alright, who moved the objective resolution in the Constituent Assembly? Very simple. Alright, what are the 4 fundamental objectives mentioned in the preamble? So all this thing you have to remember and you have to have in your mind. Alright, so that would be all. Thank you for learning, and we will continue with this journey of your polity in 20 minutes. The next lecture that we will be having will be on salient features of the Indian Constitution. Alright, so that would be all. But before going, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel and keep exploring with logic and clarity. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care and Jai Hind.